Hello everybody, Pete Caliendo here. I am the owner of Caliendo Sports International, and I want to welcome you to our introduction to the trip to Italy this summer. We've got our players traveling, and I want to welcome all of the players, parents, and our coaching staff listening to this show today. A little introduction about the trip. Caliendo Sports International, USA baseball team that will be traveling throughout Italy. A great country, great culture. So I want to tell you a little bit about it. I want to thank you, first of all, for being part of the team and for joining us. Look forward to meeting all of you on the trip. First of all, we want to start off with our two outstanding coaches that are on staff. You have their bios. You've seen both coaches. Darren Seiler, who's our representative for Caliendo Sports International, not only as the head coach, but also the group liaison upon your arrival, and for the first 5-6 days he'll be the head coach, and Darren Gurney, the assistant coach, both with tremendous international experience. Great young coaches. What I love about them is they're thinking, they're challenging all the time, they're educators, teachers. Caliendo Sports International takes extreme pride in making sure that we've got great coaches on staff. That is the number one thing about the trip. We've got to have great coaches working with our fantastic young people, teaching them the game of baseball, and also the quality of character and learning how to play the game. Not necessarily the fundamentals of the game when it comes to the technique, the hitting, the fielding, the throwing. Those things they're working with coaches back home. Our coaches may see a few things that they might need to tweak. If it's a safety issue, they'll visit with the players and parents and just explain something to them. It could be something in pitching that if they continue it, they could hurt themselves. But that is the extent that we will go, because as you know, if you've been coaching the game long enough, you understand that it's not that easy. You're not going to change a young person within 4 or 5 days on an international trip, change their hitting or their pitching or their throwing. You can make minor adjustments that are not mostly mechanical. Could be mental, could be some physical, but it depends on the situation. And then that player has to understand it also with the coaches back home. The majority of the trip, when our coaching staff is concerned about, is the mental ability to deal with failure, to play the game on their own. Some of the things that we sent you on an email, where players are allowed to make decisions, make sure that they communicate. That's huge. To be able to, on a short trip like this where you don't practice, you don't get a chance to know the players, you jump in right away, you're traveling internationally, and all of a sudden you got to play right away a game. That teaches you a lot of life skills. It teaches you how to communicate with your players right away. You've never met them, you don't know who they are. Your first time you might meet some of them. Well, that's not easy to say hello to somebody you've never met. Tell them about yourself. Talk about things when you're playing catch and when you're working out possibly, or when you're at the hotel. Get to know each other fairly well. And then during the game, try to communicate every time, because again, you haven't played together. These are all great skills that you're going to learn on the trip. So that's what we love about the baseball side of it. The culture side takes care of itself. As you know, we've said it, you're going to be together from the minute you get into Rome to the time you leave. The group will be together. It's one team of coaches, players, parents, family members, our bus driver, my partner Angelo, who you're going to meet, who owns the bus company. We are partners in all this. He will take great pride in taking care of you when I'm not there, and he'll help our coaches with anything they need along with his assistant. So that's going to be, the group is together from the minute you arrive in the Rome. So it'll be exciting. We have our own bus. We'll take tours of certain cities. We'll play games. Most of the days, we've got a couple of days where we don't. One day we're going to practice. The other one we'll have probably a good day to check Florence out. That'll give you a good opportunity to do some shopping. Because most of the time when we go into a city, we've only got a few hours, to tour, to take a look, walk around. You're going to have lunch on your own in every city. You have maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Then you'll meet in one location, get back on the bus, and then continue to a game, play the game, have dinner at the hotel or possibly at the field. So it's a long day. It's a long process. A lot of communication from our staff, but it's a lot of fun. You're going to see a lot of Italy, one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Great people, great food, history, culture, you name it. But as we said in the email, understand the culture, right? We have to know the culture going in because we're no longer in the U.S. We're in another country. They do things differently, and we have to respect how they do things there. We've mentioned some of the things via email. The cultures are different. Understand the culture a little bit more. And what's the key word to this whole trip is flexibility. Because sometimes we have to make some adjustments possibly, and that adjustment might be a time schedule, might be a flip of the tour along with the game. It could be all kinds of things. But again, our staff will communicate with you, as we mentioned, every evening. Once before you get off the bus to go back to the hotel for dinner, we'll communicate with you what's going on the next day, what to bring, what you should have with you, what the day's going to look like, answer any questions you have so that way you can prepare yourself that evening. And speaking of the players, who's preparing you? You're preparing yourself. So whatever you have to have for that day, whether it's your baseball equipment, your uniform, camera, whatever it is, sunscreen, sunglasses, you check that off to make you've got everything packed the night before, not the last minute in the morning, but the night before, so you're well prepared. When you're well prepared, things go smoothly, you have a lot more fun, and you'll have a great time. This is going to be one of the most tremendous experiences of your lifetime. You'll talk about it. We've got players from 30 years ago, 20 years ago, still talking about it. They're now adults. They never forget the international trip they took. So Caliendo Sports International, we take a lot of pride in making sure that you have a good time. From the baseball side of it, it's an educational program. We want you to learn from our coaches about the game. So constantly, every day, we may rotate coaches, and they're going to talk to you on the bus a little bit about the game itself. Parents, you're part of this. We want parents to be educated. We may talk about college. We may talk about injuries. We answer all your questions you might have. Our coaches are extremely experienced, and that's what we love about it, is they'll be able to help you as much as possible. If we don't have an answer to something, a question that you have about the development of the game, about college, or anything else in life that you're looking to find out to get a head started, we will find that answer for you. So we're going to have some meetings, possibly sometimes at the hotel, on the bus. It will be educational, but it will be where we interact with you. It's not going to be a lecture series. We want everybody to interact and ask questions and be able to get some answers to your questions. So again, a fantastic trip. I want to thank you for, again, joining Caliendo Sports International on our Italy baseball and cultural tour. We are looking forward to seeing all of you. Don't forget your passport. Anything else you can forget. You forget some baseball equipment, we'll figure out how to get it. You forget some clothes, or they lose your luggage. We could always get stuff, but your passport you're not going to get on the plane with, and that's going to delay you another day, possibly two, to get there. Keep in mind, look through the email we sent. What to pack. Very important. Some things you can pack and have on a carry-on where you bring onto the plane. Those are some things, one of everything that maybe you might need, that's legally able to bring onto the plane, that you may need if they lose your luggage. Don't assume they're not going to lose your luggage. Assume they're going to lose your luggage, unless you just want to buy a bunch of stuff when you get there. Again, keep in mind, sometimes in Italy, not all the stores are going to be open like you think they're going to be, like they are possibly in the States. They might be on vacation. August is a vacation time. Some stores aren't open all the time. Plus, we have to find time to do that, and it takes a little longer. So you preparing ahead of time, having some things where if they do lose your check-in bag, you could always have some things there right away, whether it be to play the game, whether it be toiletry, whether it be things you might need, just touring. Make sure you have some of those things, okay? So again, we want to thank you for joining us on the tour. And any questions, email us. We'll be glad to answer any questions prior to your departure. Hope you get a chance to take a look at this, and we will see you the next time in Italy.